Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the GFS, the GM, the ECMWF, the GFS and ECMWF Ensembles, and we'll finish up having a look at the UKMO Operational Run, have a look at precipitation temperature over the next 5 days. Now we do have a lot of high pressure in control at the moment, with easterly winds. Now it is a brisk easterly wind in the south, lighter further northwards, and it's meant today has been a pretty chilly day, but pretty sunny, and pretty nice spring day really. Yes, temperatures have been cold, but I think a lot of people have appreciated the sunshine, as of course we've had a lot of drab, rainy weather over the past few weeks, so it is an improvement. Now this high pressure is going to be hanging around over the next week or two. Not at all times will it be over the top of the UK, but it will always be influencing us, either over the top of us, bringing in an easterly flow, or blocking low pressure systems out in the Atlantic. Could bring some rainy conditions at times, but I'm not expecting anything too major for the time being. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to like and subscribe, and remember to follow on Twitter as well, the links in the description. So we start by having a look at the GFS. You can see easterly winds coming in. If we look at the upper air temperatures, we do have a chilly air mass coming in from the east. However, that chilly air mass will eventually degrade away, and we start pulling the winds more from a southerly direction over the next few hours, and turning things a little bit milder. But we are seeing weather fronts approaching from the west. Now, these weather fronts won't dominate our weather, as it does look like. We will be seeing high pressure still reasonably in control, but we see these weather fronts approach with the low pressure systems, giving some rain further westwards, fizzling out as it spreads eastwards. Beyond that, we do see low pressure slide up, and we do see these small low pressure systems spinning up potentially, but we've always got this high pressure to our east, blocking them out and stopping the jet stream from really activating. So although it could go unsettled, and we could be seeing a bit of rain for a time, and maybe even a vigorous little low pressure system there, we're most likely going to be seeing high pressure dominate for at least a decent period of time. If we actually do zoom in at this little low pressure system, you can see it is pretty vigorous. Wouldn't be surprised if that got named if we did see that come off. But I'm not seeing it on many of the other models at this stage. Again, we'll have to confirm that with the other models. But it's not been a particularly consistent feature, so perhaps it's just something we're seeing with the GFS today. Beyond that, eventually high pressure does rebuild back in, and we do pull on winds from a more of a southerly direction. Still have low pressure trying to push in, but generally high pressure to our east is hanging on, keeping things reasonably mild, around average really, and drier. If we do have a look at the GM run, see how that does compare. Again, low pressure trying to push in off the Atlantic, and we do see this low pressure system spin up next week. Could be a severe low. Again, something to keep an eye on. It does look like high pressure, of course, will still be influencing us. It's not going into a massive stormy spell, but this low could spin up, and we'll have to really keep an eye on it as we head over the next sort of 5 days. Could be another named storm there, and we'll have to, of course, confirm that nearer the time, but we are now actually seeing that crop up on today's models. We weren't seeing it yesterday, so interesting to see it cropping up today, and that's why I'm not particularly sort of zoned in on it. I didn't really expect to be seeing this, but it is now showing up, so we have to take it into account. And potentially in the next sort of 5 or 6 days, we could be seeing one of these lows spin up for a period of time. But as I said, it doesn't look like it's a sustained stormy period with high pressure trying to build back in. And you can see all those blues and purples staying over Iceland and Greenland, still bringing us a generally westerly flow and generally stronger winds. But you can see in the south generally you are milder than average, with some colder sectors pushing in through for a time. But I'm not expecting anything too major. Now if we have a look at the ECMWF run, see how that does compare. Now again, high pressure over the top of the UK at the moment. Then we see these low pressure systems trying to push in, making a little bit of an influence. And then beyond that, we do see that low trying to spin up and move in, but it does sort of fizzle away as it does. And then beyond that, we stay under high pressure control with a lot of drier weather, with maybe some warmer upper air temperatures for a time, but a lot of that warmer air is staying to our south with some colder air encroaching. And remember, we're at the time of year now where we can see very cold air masses, we can see pretty mild air masses, so we could be seeing temperatures really quite cold, and temperatures really quite warm perhaps, getting us into mid to high teens, from very closely following weather patterns. So it's something we have to take into account of this time of year. But at this stage, I'm not expecting anything too major, except we need to keep an eye on this little low pressure system spinning up, perhaps, and then over the next 5 days or so, which could maybe become another named storm. But we'll have to see exactly what happens with that. So we do now have a look at the ensembles. Now, can see January temperatures are around average, a little bit above, a little bit below at times over the next week. Beyond that, temperatures go above average, and we do see, or on average, they go above average, the average of the ensemble members is above the 1981-2010 mean, with quite a few warm ensemble members, including the operational run for a period of time. As I said, though, there are still some cold outliers that are still possible. No guarantees by any means, but it's a possibility there. So we have to keep an eye on that. But over the next 7 days, a pretty consistent signal for seeing average temperatures dry the next couple of days, and then precipitation picks up again. If we look at the sea level pressure, very interestingly, you can see that dip in around 5 days' time. Around here, where we could be seeing that little low pressure system move in. It does look quite local, and definitely further southwards and westwards, so perhaps London not seeing the worst of it, but definitely a little low pressure spike there. So again, we'll have to keep an eye on it. At this stage, no guarantees, but there could be maybe a named storm coming. We'll have to see how it does sort of develop over the next couple of days. Now, if we do have a look at the ECMWF ensembles to see how those do compare, look at the midnight run at the 850 HP temperature and precipitation, generally around or slightly above average over the next 7 days. Precipitation is picking up significantly in around the 11th to 15th of March. That's when those low pressure systems are coming through. Beyond that, temperatures are above average, a good degree or two above average for most of the ensemble members. Some, as I said, going colder, perhaps a signal around the 17th of March in 10 days' time for a colder sector to sweep through, but doesn't look like it's going to last for any lengthy period of time. And generally, temperatures around or above average. If we do look at sea level pressure to compare, you can see again around 13th of March a dip in pressure. Now, as I said, it's only going down to around 1,010, maybe a little bit lower than that on some of the ensemble members. But remember, the centre of the low is much further westwards. And for example, if we have a look at somewhere like Cork in Ireland. Now you can see if we go to the midnight run, quite a bit more of a dip there, getting down to 1,000 or below that, maybe 980, 990 millibars. And remember, the centre of the low is sitting a little bit further off. So low pressure does look likely perhaps in 5 days' time, but it depends on its severity and whether we do see that vigorous low get close to land, would really decide whether it gets named or not. And of course, how it does develop. So we have to keep an eye on that. So we now have a look at the UKMO Office run, have a look at precipitation and temperature over the next 5 days. Now you can see very sunny day today for many. Some cloud, and we're going to see weather fronts approaching from the west over the coming sort of 12 hours, starting to encroach on Ireland in the far southwest. And beyond that, maybe some more heavier precipitation moving through by Wednesday. But as I said, it will be fizzling away as it spreads eastwards, getting blocked away by the high pressure. By Thursday, another low does make more of a sort of a breakthrough. See a bit more low pressure influence, and then by Saturday, around the 12th of March, we start seeing low pressure arrive from the southwest. Difficult to say if this is that vigorous low. If we do have a look at the sea level pressure, you can see it is that vigorous low off the coast of Ireland. Have to keep an eye on that, of course. And if we have a look at wind gusts, you can see 70 or 80 mile per hour gusts possible with this. So if we did see this confirmed within the models, wouldn't be surprised to be potentially seeing at least yellow warnings, maybe amber warnings, and potentially being named by this weekend. But of course, it is something we need to keep an eye on. No guarantees at this stage, but yeah, that has recently come up in the models over the last sort of day or so. If you look at max temperatures, you can see today it was a pretty chilly day, widely 5 to 8 degrees. So not feeling too warm at all, not bitterly cold, but on the chillier side of this time of year. Tonight, widespread frost for many across mainland United Kingdom, getting down to freezing. And by tomorrow, still a chilly day for some, but rising maybe a degree or two up, maybe 9 or 10 degrees. By Tuesday in the evening into Wednesday, could be a little bit colder temperatures once again. And by Wednesday afternoon, temperatures 12 or 13 degrees in the east. Much colder in the west as a cold front is sweeping in, trying to bring colder temperatures, but of course it's getting blocked away by that high pressure system. which by Thursday, see if temperatures 15 degrees in the far southeast and East Anglia, where we are pulling up southerly winds. By Friday, still mild in the east, 13-14 degrees, but mixed temperatures further northwards and westwards. And by Saturday, could be a frost across Ireland, milder further eastwards, maybe getting to around 11 or 12. But of course, there's that low pressure system approaching from the southwest that we really do need to keep an eye on over the next couple of days. Could be a name storm, but again, all depends on its track and its severity. So I'll keep you updated. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.